Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here in June. I'm very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. Welcome to Sunday's edition of the Doctor Who Daily. If you're feeling charitable, and I know you're really compassionate and charitable people, smash the subscribe button, smash the like button, and follow me on Twitter at MoviesTVMad. We need to talk about Emily Rossina. We need to talk about Emily because, it's interesting because Emily Cook seems to be her name, but it's at Emily Rossina. Now, Emily works for the official Doctor Who magazine. She's a journalist, right? So, as far as we know, she came up with this whole idea of doing Doctor Who tweet-along. So she did the Day of the Doctor, she did Rose, she's done Vincent and the Doctor, she's done the 11th Hour, and what she's managed to do, right, because as far as we know, it is her that's responsible for all of this. She's had Stephen Moffat tweeting along, she's had Karen Gillan, she's had Arthur Darvill, Matt Smith, Russell T Davies. So, in all intents and purposes, it's a positive thing, nothing to take too seriously, but she's done a great thing, and I've certainly enjoyed the tweet-alongs. Let's be clear about that. But I'm not quite sure about Emily, to be honest with you. I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure about her. Now, this is an article that popped up. Now, apparently this is a fake headline article from the Radio Times. Now, this is what the headline says. Doctor Who Series 8 to 10 will not be getting any watch-alongs. Now, the bottom says, well, no one really watched it, did they? Says Emily Cook, the organiser of the events. Capaldi never really stuck with the mainstream audience, as Smith, Tennant and Whittaker have. Right. Look, I've got a lot to say about this. Now, this is what Emily said in response. Anyone complaining that the 12th Doctor hasn't featured in the watch-alongs, please stop. Firstly, I don't have to do this, so don't take them for granted. Secondly, Capaldi is coming up. I bet he is now. And whoever is faking up articles like this, well, I don't really know what to say. This is very, very interesting, fellow Doctor Who fandom. First of all, right, I've been on Twitter a long time, since 2013, and the one thing that's really getting on my nerves now is people saying, oh, I hate the toxic fandom. And there's this kind of opinion that no one can ever have a negative, constructive opinion. And if you ever say anything that's just slightly negative, you're part of the problem. You're toxic. You know, you've got people like George Sheard, right? Really prominent fans that have got successful YouTube channels trying to police us all. Please don't try and police me. Right, one of the things I don't like this post from Emily. I don't like it at all because, firstly, I don't have to do this, so don't take them for granted. Right, Emily, nobody asked you to do this. We are grateful, right? But don't start pointing your finger at us, telling us, stuff. I haven't complained about what you're doing. I don't care which episode you put on, right? I've said it before. If you put on any Jodie Whittaker episodes, any Chris Chibnall episodes, I'm not willing to start pretending that everything in the garden is rosy, and I won't support them. You don't care about that because you're going to have thousands of other people. I get it, right? I'm not important. I'm just one person. That's good, right? But at the end of the day, if you do that, that means this was your plan from the very beginning. Because you and the BBC saw the toxicity, the negativity, the reaction from the Timeless Children, and you tried to spin the narrative. And you've done a very interesting, good, exciting thing in a way. You've brought old showrunners back, actors back. It's been great. It's been a great distraction through this horrible, strange times that we're living in, right? That's brilliant. But if it's just to kind of manipulate us into re-watching a season that's only just finished, episodes from that, then I would say my suspicions about you and the reasons you're doing this have come to light. But I don't have a personal issue with Emily. I've talked her up in every edition of the Doctor Who Daily, as you guys and girls know that. But the point is, Emily, right? It's interesting that you've responded to this because at the end of the day, the best response would have been to not say anything. And also, she does this a lot. She keeps on telling us how she doesn't have to do this, how she's not getting paid. We know. And it's like when someone keeps on repeating something, it's like it's like they're trying to hide something. She keeps on saying she's not being paid. Does that mean she is being paid? Does this really mean that the BBC put her out there to do this, to try and spin the narrative on Doctor Who after the toxicity and the negativity to Chibnall and what he did in The Timeless Children? An episode and reveal and an arc I said I supported. I don't think he's done a particularly good job in the past 2 years. I don't think he's developed this Doctor at all, or his companions, and he's made Doctor Who very, very boring. But Doctor Who was getting boring in the latter stages of the Capaldi era. Let's not forget that. Let's not all of a sudden forget about that. I love Stephen. I love a lot of things he's done with Doctor Who, but he got tired in the end, and he stopped. He just wanted out. And I think Mark Gatiss pretty much confirmed that once it was announced Moffat was leaving. Right. So there is a suspicion for me that this is not just some Doctor Who fan who happens to work for a magazine putting these lovely things together. Don't forget, it's very hard to get these people on Twitter. Matt Smith's never had a Twitter account. Russell T Davies and Stephen Moffat despise Twitter, right? But they're doing it. Why are they doing it? Because they know that Doctor Who is down in the dirt. It's in trouble. Falling ratings, falling profit margins. People are not turning in to watch it, right? There's still a solid amount of people watching this, but at the end of the day, the numbers are falling. If these were just the numbers and they stuck like this, I'd say it's solid. Things change, niches change, fair enough. But these numbers keep on going down. And it's because since really season 10 of Doctor Who, and you could argue season 9 and 8, there's been a downturn in the creative element and the excitement from people to come in to watch Doctor Who. That's a fact. But this is, after The Timeless Children, Doctor Who was on its knees. And this was a perfect way to rise it up again. And she's been successful, and the BBC have been successful. They've spun the narrative beautifully. And as I say, I've enjoyed this. This is great. I don't want to bring negativity towards this woman, right? But I will reiterate, a couple of times she's repeated to us that she's not getting paid. She doesn't have to do this. So there. It seems to me that's what she's trying to say. Isn't the better way just to do the thing, right? Enjoy yourself and forget about what people... If you see a negative tweet, ignore it, move away. Emily, you have put yourself in the middle of this now, right? Because everybody knows, or as far as we know, right? Because we don't know anything else, right? This was your brainchild. You've done this, and if that's true, well done. But I am starting to get very suspicious. So let's just say, right, so let's move on from Emily for a minute. So let's just say Emily is a fan who's done this on her own. She works for the magazine. She did this. She got everyone together. Well done, Emily. Well done, you. Brilliant. These tweet-alongs have been great. Right, then we have to look at the fake article. Why would someone fake that article, right? We have to look at that. Now, is it Hugh Fullerton from the Radio Times also quote tweeted Emily and said the article was fake? So I don't know if there is an article. Obviously, they haven't published this article if they're saying it's fake. So what's going on? Why does someone want to destabilise what Emily is doing with the tweet-alongs? A beautiful thing that Doctor Who fans are really enjoying. It was a weird day on Twitter yesterday. Everyone was so toxic. There's an account called Doctor Who, and then another account was created talking about negative, toxic Doctor Who accounts, and accusing people of being homophobic and transphobic, blah-de-blah-de-blah. It was a really toxic day, and it was weird because we actually had Patrick Troughton's son on Twitter as they were watching along a very special Patrick Troughton episode. I spoke to Patrick's son because I recognised him as Piers Fletcher Dervish from The New Statesman, the sitcom he did with Rick Mail. I told him how much I enjoyed him in that as well. And in Minder, we had a good little chat. It was a positive thing. Another positive thing about Doctor Who, like these tweet-alongs have been. So, obviously, when you look at what Emily's saying here, the accusation is at the fans. Just listen to this again. Anyone complaining that about the 12th Doctor hasn't featured in the watch-alongs, please stop. Firstly, I don't have to do this, so don't take them for granted. Secondly, Capaldi is coming up, and whoever is faking up articles like this, well, I don't really know what to say. Right, so let's just say Emily is on the side of the Angels, and someone is trying to destabilise what she's doing. Why would a fan do this? Why would a fan do this? Why would a fan, right, fake this article and stir the pot? It doesn't make sense. Now, it seems to me that she's trying to imply that it is a fan, right? Because that's what they do. Doctor Who fans are there to be shot at all the time. We're all toxic. Someone must have done this. Well, it can't be the fandom bloody menace, Emily, because the episodes that you're doing, we like, because you haven't touched Jodie's episodes. If you carry on doing that, you're going to have a big trend and you're going to do well. But once you go on Chibnall's era, people are going to fly away like flies, right? If flies do fly. Of course flies fly. Right, we saw the watch-along for Spyfall Parts 1 and 2. They did not trend at number 1. They did okay, but they didn't trend at number 1. Fact. And the only reason anyone turned in for that is because the only popular person, the only person people like of that era, Sacha Dhawan, was live tweeting. That's the only reason, right? And they're trying to plug the gaps with this popular man. How long they can get away with that, I don't know. So, if it wasn't a fan who created that fake account, who was it? Was it the BBC? If she is doing this independently, is it the BBC? Are they unhappy that people are enjoying? And, it's trending at number 1. This is the old way of doing Doctor Who, not the new inclusive kind of, SJW way of doing Doctor Who like Chris Chibnall is doing. This isn't a good thing. We better try and destabilise them. Is it the BBC? Maybe, but unlikely. So there's some entity somewhere that's not happy about this. I don't know. But logically, we have to look at this and say that a fan wouldn't do this, right? A fan wouldn't do this. Why would a fan do this? Emily is doing tweet-alongs for popular versions of the Doctor, for popular episodes. There is no reason for any of us to do this. So it's either a troll, right? Or it's someone else, a bigger entity that wants this to fail, right? And wants us at each other. But I will go back. She shouldn't have posted this. It was stupid and it was naive and it was childish, right? I don't have to do this, right? Yes, I appreciate your efforts and your hard work, Emily, right? But you are a prominent journalist and you do work for one of the biggest magazines in the world, right? For one of the biggest shows in the world, right? So you're doing okay and you don't have to do this. And if you feel you don't want to do this anymore, if it's getting too toxic for you, you shouldn't. I've got every single revival episode of Doctor Who here. I don't need to tweet along. It's fun. I'm glad of it. It's great to meet other Doctor Who fans and talk to the actors and showrunners of the past. I love them. It's great. Thank you. But I don't want to hear every 5 minutes that I need to be getting to my knees and kissing your feet because you're not getting paid for doing this. And the more you say it, the more I suspect you are getting paid. But I will take it for what it is and I'll say thank you, Emily Racina, for what you're doing. It's a great thing, but don't talk down to people. It isn't very nice. Comment down below. I want to know what you think about this shitstorm. And I'll be back tomorrow with even more Doctor Who Daily. See you again soon.